Welcome back to an episode of We Are Again, somewhere at the beginning of the game, but still at the end, with a slightly larger owlbear. And a Wyll that's dancing, because we're actually missing someone. I cannot check my inventory, that's actually quite interesting. What do we got here? Astrally projected? Yeah, because we are not here actually, we're somewhere else. So let's just talk to the caps first, and also Scratchy.
Friend? Friend! You came! Big brother Scratch, too! Happy.
You're a lot bigger than Scratch now.
Yes! Big! But Scratch is smart. Teaches me many things. Like Big Brother.
That Withers brought you here, though.
Withers? No. You smell very delicious. Follow smell, find you.
Really? Okay. What have you been doing since last we met?
Lots. Make friends with a turtle, a cat, a kraken. Kraken eats my cat friend, so I bite, kill. With shiny clothes, I am strong. Tired now. Want sleep. Want cave.
You need someone to look after you. How about Halsin?
Bear man? He is big, but not bigger than me. I like him. I go to him. Happy. Gonna live with the bear man. Gonna fight him. But no bite. Promise.
Oh boy. I just selected something. I didn't actually read the other options. Oh boy.
Yes. Miss this. More. Yes. Miss this.
So many items to take. But we are not going to loot stuff now. No, we're not.
Need to find a way forward.
Scratchy over here.
A familiar sight. Scratch can't quite speak around the thing he has in his mouth.
Yeah, look at that. What have you got this time?
I found this. It smelled like you, so I kept it. Seemed like something you might like to throw.
I'd be happy to, but first, how have you been?
Oh, I've been so good. I've got a nice home in the city now. A girl named Mindy says I'm her best friend. She's mine too. Also you and Owlbear. I've got so many best friends, I hardly know who to play with.
So glad to hear you've fared well since our travels together.
I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you.
Oh. So, this is a dangerous object, by the way. Not sure we should be playing with it.
You know best. But a little fetch never hurt anyone. As far as I know.
I just hope you're not getting caught up in it. So, now we, do we have any maps here? What's this? End your adventure. Oh, okay. We're just teleporting back. What is this? Interesting environment. Okay, so we get the Owlbear. Next one is Volo. There.
Ah, my dear friend, it's been an age, has it not? You're looking very well indeed. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post.
Have you come seeking a statement for your next tell-all?
Oh, I wouldn't bother you with such things during a party. And anyway, I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might
Wonderful.
help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me. What do you think?
The hero and I? No. I love it. Presuming I'm the hero, yeah. You can do better, can't you?
Oh, terribly sorry, but you mistake me, my friend. I'm only accepting complimentary feedback at this time. Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you can just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you.
As long as the money ends up
your
in my
success
coffers,
really
I'm
has
good.
been wonderful for my reputation. But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
Okay, so what about Milil? Who is this?
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice.
Ah, the music's fine. Uninvited guests are not. Who are you? You seem glum. I thought bards were meant to be full of pep and joy. Yeah, who are you?
You have no idea who I am, do you? I thought Withers might have set the stage a little.
Okay. I know exactly who you are. It's such an honor. Is it? Maybe from previous installment. Okay, how do you know Withers?
I owe him a favor, one he is eternally invoking. I thought honoring the worthy was a fair price to pay for Withers to pull me out of the fugue plane. Alas, one purgatory to another.
What were you doing in the fugue plane?
Languishing in obscurity. Cyric knew what he was doing when he punished me for that song, the prick. Before I was banished to the fugue plane, I had song prayers coming out the proverbial ears. Guess how many I get now? None. I'm washed up, I'm afraid.
Wait a minute, so this was a religion thingy. So, it's all coming back to me. I know who you are. What an honor. Am I? Really? We're not deceiving anyone. I'd like you to play a different song, please. In that case, I'll leave you in... Quite to your top... different song.
Go on then. What should I play?
Can you play a pretty song reminiscent of taverns and tales? Something lively that encourages dancing would be perfect. I like something that feels rich and warm. Something nostalgic, gentle would be ideal. Do I have any new compositions? Something that has never been heard before. Oh, that's a good one.
Fine. It's your party after all.
Let's see if there's new stuff coming up. Bless you.
Pardon me.
So, Willie.
To your relief, your projection holds. It took 12 Gish's talents, a few stolen psi crystals, and 10 days of effort to conjure it. You can touch, taste, and talk, but your fleshy body is in limbo, the home of the mystical Githzerai. Once, the Githzerai were one with the Githyanki, until bloody civil wars severed the Gith species. The Githzerai god king Menyar Ag-Gith sent word through the cosmos. He knows of your rebellion, and he's agreed to parley. Should the Githzerai join you, you could vanquish Flakith in a red dragon's blink.
A great warrior of the comet walks among us. Well, a projection of him at least. Ugh, probably for the best. I smell like a 70-year-old cinder. Withers yanked me from Avernus with my blade halfway through a Cambion's belly without so much as a chance at washing up. And you? I wager you and Lae'zel have cracked open more Kithraki heads than you could possibly count.
Too right. We could fill rivers with all the blood we've spilled. Okay, yeah. We've taken a more political approach and seek to ally with the Githzerai here.
Diplomacy. Not so different from fighting, I find. You still grip your blade, you just hide it beneath a silken glove. How you thrill in the Hell Hunt. Slaying fiends is electrifying. The demons I've disintegrated, the devilkin I've bled, the stories I've been itching to tell. I don't suppose you'd indulge me.
Right. A tale of battle told by the legendary Blade of Avernus. I'm all ears.
Yes, but just the one, or I'll be yammering all night. You want to hear about the Amnitsu at the Styx? The three-tusked Orthon? Or the invading Goristroy?
Well... What is the three-tusked Orthon?
Word travels fast when a devil crosses the Delembir Vale near Daggerford. It had travelled a hell rift to a long-forsaken shrine. Luckily, the trail it scorched into the frontiers was hard to miss. It led to an isle of cracked rock in Avernus, floating amid a molten sea. The Orthon stood heaving, breath like brimstone and ash. And then it charged, splitting the ground with every thud so fast it left a trail of smoke. I could barely nick it, not with a blade, not with an arrow. It was the War Devil's weight that proved its own undoing. The third charge it made, I struck the rock with hail of thorns. The ground split apart the moment the beast stomped onto it. The Orthon slowly sunk, howling into the magma beneath. I let two of its tusks sink with it. The third I sliced free and presented to the first Duke of Daggerford, a rare trophy to grace his walls.
I've missed traveling with you. Yeah, you were a pleasure to be around. He was just in my team for a split second. Anyway, incredible story. Wish I'd been there to see it play out. Done a lot of killing for a warlock without his powers. Yeah, whoa, that's actually, yeah, makes sense.
I won't lie. Losing the Eldritch Blasts and the Hexes took some getting used to. Nothing but void, where once there was hellfire. So I stoked new fires in myself using the lessons my father once taught me. The Blade of Avernus is a ranger, a hunter of the most hellish prey.
Your father must be proud of you. Have you been visiting?
I've seen him more than a few times, and he's as proud of me as I am of him. He's leading the city's renewal, opened the gates to all newcomers, rebuilt the council from scratch. And he's back in his element, commanding the Flaming Fist with brave heart and no shortage of empathy. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. No tadpole needed. Bane's Chosen primed the Fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the correct answer to crisis. With a few exceptions, fathers pardoned every last fist. If my forgiveness not be Tyr's will, so be it. I shall forgive them all the same. His words, not mine. He still believes in the bow and the blade, but with Florrick's help, he's teaching the fist a new lesson. Valor is found not in the wounds you inflict, but in the lives that you have bettered. May they all take it to heart.
I miss traveling with you. You were a pleasure to be around.
I've missed you too.
Oh.
The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights around the fire, the comfort of knowing I didn't face the unknown alone. If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side.
Oh. Incredible story, though, with a three-horned thingamajig. I wish I'd been there to see it play out.
I wish you'd been there to join in. Oh, to battle together, just like the old days. I suppose that's my way of saying I miss you. Tonight, I toast not just the people we've become, but the people we were. Warriors, winners, saviors. Go on, the night's young. You shouldn't waste a moment of it. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
Right. So, that's the fuel for the brave. Now, Halsin.
You made it! You would think someone of my vintage would be inured to the passage of time. Yet these past 6 months have seemed endless without your company. But now, our paths cross once more.
Oh, let me guess. Just as nature intended. The feelings means you have missed you. Honestly. The time's flown by. Is that almost sentimental, considering we didn't really get along? Did we? Nah, we did get along. Just as nature intended?
Just as I hoped they would, more like. The Oak Father has been kind to me this past while. Yet I cannot forget the bond we all forged together. It is one that can weather any distance, any passage of time. I know it can, for I feel the longing for old friends in my heart each day.
Now you sound like you need a hug, big guy. That's life. I'm afraid we can't go back. The future's ours, alright? Who knows what we might yet share together? Oh.
You are right, of course. I am accustomed to dwelling on the past, even when it brought me nothing but unhappiness. You changed that, and gave me the most precious of memories. Now the task is to make yet more of them, so that each reunion shall be all the sweeter. And who's to say we need to make such gatherings a rare occasion? My hearth is yours to warm yourself beside always. Now, we have much to catch up on. Do not allow me to ramble on. I am eager to hear all you've been doing.
Oi. You first, Halsin. Want to hear about the life you've made, the people you've helped? I could listen to you talk all day, but if you insist. Finally, yes, let's talk about me. I want to talk, stay eager a little longer, I'll come back to you later. Let's turn this around. Or we know about the whole, like, dragon stuff and whatnot, so... How many people have you helped?
In that case, very well. Our community grows rapidly. In 6 months, we have turned what was once a shadowy wasteland into a true home for all. In another 6 months, I would wager the scars of the past will be entirely invisible, even to those who remember them. The old masonry of Moonrise Towers and Rythwin have been repurposed into new homes, and the land is rich with harvests and bountiful trees. Nature and civilization are in harmony, stronger together.
Sounds wonderful. Is this the balance you wished for?
In a manner of speaking, yes. Though it is a more complex, evolving beast than I could ever have anticipated. True balance is no simple, fixed thing. I see that now. We welcome folk from all walks of life. Anyone who wishes for a new start. Naturally, it can be chaotic at times, but it is a thrilling sort of chaos. It thrives in ways I could never have dreamed of.
Well, definitely need to see this place myself.
You are welcome whenever you like, and for however long you please. Now, please, tell me all, and spare no details. I shall not lie. I have an ulterior motive in wishing to hear all. It is the children, you see, my charges. Their appetite for bedtime tales is greater than I could ever have anticipated. Another story, Daddy Halsin. Another is the chorus that greets me each nightfall. They have all but exhausted my repertoire in but a few short months. No mean feat given the lifetime I have lived. I desperately need new material, please. My reputation is at stake.
I don't know, bedtime tales were a possibility. I'd have sought you out at camp. I expect you'll have a few tales that will need to write until they are older. Alright, let me see what I have.
I am all ears. Though I never cared for that phrase. A rather unsettling image.
With all the years. So, regale Halsin with tales of your past 6 months' deception. The truth may be a little flat. Spice it up a little. Recount some of your recent exploits. Spare no detail. Recount fighting alongside Lae'zel against the force of Lackett. I mean, yeah, why not?
Lae'zel could not have wished for a finer companion by her side. You truly love her, I can tell. Just keep each other safe, please. Now, it would be cruel of me to hoard you all to myself for the evening, as much as I would like to. I shall leave you to the others for now, unless there was anything else.
Oh, what about Tanya and Ollie? Do you see much of them?
Quite often. They come and go as they please, but with so many playmates to avail of, they are far from strangers. They ask after you often. What you did for them will never be forgotten. I can see it in the land all around me. But more importantly, I see it in their faces whenever they visit. To make a child smile is to dabble with the power of gods, as far as I'm concerned.
Still partial to roaming in bear form, I take it. What of the grove, do you say? May have volunteered you for something, if you forgive me. Might your new community have room for a well-behaved owlbear? Oh! Yeah, I may have volunteered you for something.
Do you truly even need to ask? Of course! Who could not open their home to a befeathered hero of Baldur's Gate? And I did promise the children I would bring them back a surprise. Imagine their faces.
Okay, good. At least that's sorted out. What about the whole bear thing? Yeah.
I spend half my days in ursine form. The children demanded. I had a score of them taking turns riding upon my back just days ago. I'm glad they are so comfortable with the Oakfather's creations. But they must learn that not all are as amiable as I am. A lesson for another time, though. They deserve some joy. As for roaming, that impulse has dwindled, I must admit. Perhaps because I have found where I am meant to be.
Okay, but yeah, you definitely seem more settled than I expected of you. Thought it was against your nature.
As did I, but somehow I feel like I no longer need to roam. That I have found something worthy laying roots for. Amazing what can be discovered about oneself, even at a ripe old age.
Now, what about the grove? You stay in touch?
On occasion, but I prefer not to interfere. Francesca of the High Forest is Archdruid now, and by all accounts, she has proven to be a steady and wise influence. Even Korga may yet find true balance, thanks to her influence.
Oh. Okay, now let's just finish with a big hug for the bear.
By all means. If only we could stay like that forever.
Right.
Before you go, I have something for you. Just a little keepsake, really. Do you remember how I told you I like to whittle? I made this. ducks are my favorite, but I thought they were particularly fitting in this case. They are migratory birds, of course, traveling far and wide with the turn of the seasons. Yet, they always find their way back to where they belong. Just like old friends find themselves back in each other's company.
What the duck? It's lovely, thank you. Doesn't do anything. You're a sentimental creature at heart. You know that. This may fetch a but a surprise from a merchant with porters. Jesus. Oh, crap. Oh, what are those options there? Like, they're the absolute destruction of self. Like, I love it. Thank you. It's either you lie or you are absolutely aggressive. Yeah, you're a sentimental creature at heart. You know that.
Oh, I am well aware. Trust me. Now, I've taken up enough of your time. Go on. Enjoy the festivities.
Hey, we got a ducky. And the necromancy of Thay is still bound to us. Great. Oh, thank goodness we got ourselves these things. A whittled duck. Nice. What the? Oh, look at that. There may be something to read in here. Haha. Oh, Baldur's Mirth Gazette. Let's read this one. Thorm's army dispersed from Baldurian's borders. Beloved, no more. Minsk slain in service of the Absolute. Aww. Almond cakes of Avernus. Turian refugees and owners of city's newest cafe share their recipe. Site of foundry blast still sectioned off, says Fist. The White remembers statue of late High Harbor erected where beloved ranger once stood. Fresh stock in an interview with the new master of Ramesses Tar. Oh. Are they all the same? Ravenguard returned to full strength. The Wizard of Waterdeep exclusive interview with Savior of the city. Serial killer unmasked as crazed Ballist. Planar Pain, city court at center of Githyanki War. Gondians disband. Gon's time has come and gone. Amberley Quator Sashimi Scandal. And lost holdout cultists cleared from the Temple of Baal. Volo Thumb's Get Darm Guide to Baldur's Gate. Bard seeks contributors to newest edition. And Throne Wreckage continues to block shipping lanes. Complain merchants. Settlers bound for lands. Upriver emit claims curse is lifted. Business boom. Take your troubles to the House of Grief. Not a goblin creature spotted crawling along Elfsong Bar. Reported to be Githyanki child. No. Is it? Okay, 6 months since the assassination of Archduke Gortash. Assassination, sure. Witnesses encounter vampire spawn and live to tell the tale. Small sun, tour new district built by Turian refugees. Monument planned for heroes of the High Hall. That might be us. New bardic school, tiefling founder, secures upper city funding.
I'm glad for it.
So we got ourselves 4 of those. What's inside here? Letter from Sebastian. Jesus, that's an awful lot of letters.
Cool, fresh air. By the living gods, I need it.
To the hero of the realms, we have followed your adventures closely from the day you fell from that doomed Nautiloid to the final blow you struck the Netherbrain as it loomed over the Sword Coast. We are but a humble guild who pride ourselves in telling stories, not unlike the tales to be written of you for many years to come. How inspired we have been to witness your feats, awesome and terrible, the lives you've saved and sundered, the friendships you found. Thus, we thought to extend a greeting to thank you for adventuring with such creative determination, such panache, enough to touch the hearts of each of our number. With deepest gratitude, the Guild of Great Genius. Now that sounds awesome. I'm definitely going to continue reading through that thing. It is just that I need to talk to... yeah, who do we have here? I mean, Gale is one of those important fellows. A fitting farewell. Rescue Oren. Gather your allies. Got that. That was also completed. Rescue Oren's victim. With Oren defeated, we can finally see if her victim is alright. Okay. Don't know how I'm gonna do that though. Can't teleport. Where are all... Oh, no, this is actually one of those completed quests. There's only the fitting farewell thing. Now the dust is settled, well, this is gathered may remain companions and followers for a celebration, for all be accomplished. My remaining, everyone except God. I should find out what everyone's been up to. I need to talk to Withers. Alright. Is there anything else to read though? Any books or so? No. Let's see. Is this a book? No. Cooking pot, cutting board, food. So, Astarion was the one that I did. Tressym. Interesting. Well, let's talk to Shadowheart first.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up.
Are you joking? I've been counting down the days. I had reservations, actually. Thought it might be too bittersweet. Of course I did. Your lord could hardly manage without me. Shadowheart, isn't it? Wow. Was wondering the same of you. Didn't think you want to be within arm's reach of me again. Wait a minute. Yeah, you're joking. I've been counting down the days. No, that's a bit much. Had reservations, actually. Thought it might be too bittersweet. Oh boy. Huh. Nah, let's just go with the first one.
Honestly, so have I. Well, come here, will you? It's been forever. You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it?
Yeah. Living in the palace and so on, so much. You can say that. Slept under the stars enough for one lifetime. You know, I miss that, actually. Are you calling me chubby? Right. I'll take that as a compliment. You look good, too.
I suppose I do, don't I? I'm glad you seem well. Trudy.
Yeah. That's okay to sentiment. Feelings mutual. Sure.
I had no doubt. But I'm glad to hear you say it all the same.
So, now, tell me, what you've been up to?
Wandering, mostly. The adventuring life is almost a tonic when you're not constantly threatened by brain monsters and cultists. I can finally see the world beyond the cloister.
Right, come on, tell all. Where have you been? What have you seen?
One of my first stops was the House of the Moon in Waterdeep. It's the largest temple of Selûne in existence. It seemed like the perfect spot to reflect on my parents, on where they came from. And where I came from too, I suppose. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Me, of all people, in the lair of the Moon Witch herself. Gods, you're truest act of heroism was putting up with all that char and drivel I was spouting for so long.
Your parents would be proud. Wow, no, that's bring the parents in there. Right, I was sorry, Elroy. Are you going to turn to Selûne Rhetoric now instead? Huh, Waterdeep, you say? Did you bump into... Wait. This house is safe because it's just... I mean, I don't want to bring up the parents, to be honest. Yeah. But anyway, Waterdeep is something strange. Did you bump into Gale?
We had tea on his balcony. Tara even deigned to sit on my lap for a while. You know, I think entire forests must have been felled to quench that man's thirst for books. He seems to be doing well. In his element.
What else you've been doing then?
Well, I've had run-ins with my former fellow Sharans on a couple of occasions. Word seems to have spread of what happened at the cloister. Now other chapters of Shar worshippers see me as a prime target to offer up to their lady as a sacrifice. Don't worry. I know their tired old tricks better than anyone. They'll need more than a hooded cloak and poisoned blade to best me. Especially when I have a friend on the inside keeping me abreast of their predictable little plans.
Oh, a friend on the inside. Must be Nocturne.
None other. The matter of her faith and allegiances remains complicated, let's say. But she is still my oldest friend. I have hopes that perhaps she might turn from Shar entirely given time. But that's a decision she will have to make for herself. If that day comes, I'll be ready. Now,
you must be wondering what I've been doing this past week. Yeah, that's turning it around. What's next for you?
I don't know. Which is just the way I like it just now. Perhaps I'll just stick a pin in a map and see what I find, or head to the docks in the morning and scrounge a berth to find somewhere new. I'd like to see the islands, maybe, or head south to Arm. I heard there's an enclave of werecats that hunt the followers of dark gods by moonlight. I'd love to see if there's any truth to that. But enough about me. What have you been up to?
What? No options!
Don't be a stranger.
Wait. Let's give her at least some information. We can't just let her...
I've missed wine. Had to resort to making my own cider recently, which isn't bad, don't get me wrong. But a girl can't have fun with apples alone.
Right. You could have a future in brewing. Start your own label, maybe. Shadowheart Special Scrumpy.
You might be onto something there, though the name might need work. Somehow it sounds rude, even though I know otherwise.
Right, now, let's just finish with a hug and get to the next one.
Seeing as you asked so politely.
Estelle will be absolutely furious.
That hit the spot.
So,
don't be a stranger.
Now, let's see. Who's up next? I mean, Gale's quest is still... Is it finished? I don't know. The thing is, yeah, Gale's mission is not really done.
By the living gods, I needed it.
And somehow Astarion seems as if he also needs some kind of a finish there too. That was weird.
Reunited with friends amidst nature. What more could I wish for?
So, Gale.
Well, well. Look what the Tressym dragged in. Professor Gale Decarius of Blackstaff Academy. Educator of the esteemed School of Illusion. A pleasure to remake your acquaintance.
You may. Huh. I see Mistra didn't smite you in the end. Okay, wait, wizard. You confine yourself to the School of Illusion, and I've thought you'd teach me the entire curriculum. Yeah. Why is he illusion magic all of a sudden? Like, isn't that my forte? Shouldn't he be like fireball and all of this stuff? Yeah. You confine yourself to the School of Illusion. And I thought you could teach the entire curriculum by now.
I did offer, as a matter of fact. However, the Black Staff insisted I couldn't teach every subject, nor could the simulacra of myself I offered to create for that purpose. So I've settled for teaching the art of illusion. Magic to confound the senses, to render the impossible into reality, and to allow expression of that most magical attribute of all, imagination. I fear my students find me somewhat intimidating due to my explosive former reputation. I seem to put the fear of the gods into them, or the fear of Mistra, to be more specific. I surrendered the crown of Karsus to her, as I told you I would, and in return she cured me of the orb at last. Even now I struggle to put the feelings into words. It was like exhaling for the first time after holding my breath for so very long. Of course, I haven't clarified with my students that the orb is no longer a threat. The legend of my explosive capabilities is an excellent means of controlling a classroom. Too good, if anything. I spend most of my time trying to convince them how much fun the study of magic can be. But it'd be easier to crack a smile on an intellect devourer than some of my pupils.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. The weave's not fodder for idle study. It's dangerous and should be treated as such. Nah, come on, we are not here about that. Perhaps that's a good thing. I'm sure they are far better students than I was. So install as old Braz. Wouldn't you rather be out on another adventure? You used to take yourself rather seriously, you know? Used to. Right now, he seems fairly serious. Yeah. Yeah, you used to take yourself rather seriously, you know?
I did. But meeting you, traveling the strangest of roads together, I learned to see myself differently. See the weave differently. In fact, I've actually been considering writing down the story of our adventures. The true tale of our flawed but ultimately endearing troop, and the trials and tribulations we overcame. I can hardly leave it to the likes of Volo to give a true account of our adventures. And no one would believe him if he did.
That odious man truly frizzles my whiskers. Long-haired miniature dragon, he calls me. Tressym is much less of a mouthful.
And what of you? What are you making of this newfound lease of life we earned?
I found the most excellent series of arcane tombs beneath an abandoned wizard's tower. I'll be studying those for a decade at least. I confess I've found life a little too quiet since our journey came to an end. Nah, for the love of my life, I'd say I'm pretty happy. You haven't heard the latest tales of my heroics? I mean, I could tell him something about the whole wizard thing with the whole excellent arcane book stuff. Books or Lae'zel? Books or Lae'zel? Books or Lae'zel? Let's see, maybe I can get some more info about Mistra out of him this way.
And I couldn't be happier for you. A fitting reward for the sacrifices you made in getting here. I've told my students plenty of tales about our escapades. You're something of a hero to them, you know? I'll be delighted to introduce you to my current cohort as a guest lecturer, perhaps. I'm sure they'd have plenty of questions for you.
Right. Would be my pleasure, sure. Respectfully decline, so it's too much like... Nah, come on. A bit delighted, though I need to appear psionically. Perhaps Lae'zel and I can give the lad trick the cat. Now Lae'zel has to protect enters. Okay. I need to prepare a reading list, of course, and the space large enough to practice demonstration. Okay, now let's not overdo this. I'll be delighted.
Excellent. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist the allure of sharing your expertise. I'm very curious to know what you've been up to these past months. But I suspect the telling of that tale would keep you tied to me all evening. So, in the spirit of selflessness, I encourage you to mix and mingle for now, with time enough to come.
Bard knows some of my favorites.
Soon.
Unless my taste in music is too antique, of course.
Who else? We got ourselves Astarion.
Well, look who decided to turn up. I wasn't sure our withered old friend could live up to his promise. But here we are. Or here I am. I'm not sure about you.
Well, I've taken a breather in the limbo with Lae'zel after myriad battles in the astral plane. Sure. Wish I could be there in person. It is good to see you. This projection will have to do. Hope you weren't expecting a hug. Well, the whole limbo thing.
But of course, I imagine traversing a cosmic war zone is no easy thing. You know, I was concerned you'd land yourself in trouble without me to look after you, but I see you're doing just fine as you are. Flying across the cosmos on the backs of dragons, waging war on your mad queen. I couldn't be more proud.
Oh, I seem happy. Have you been drinking? Yeah. The last time I saw you, you were running from the sun. Okay. What happened? Yeah, actually, wait a minute. Did I actually see him running away from the sun or anything like that? I don't know. Bollocks! I kind of missed that scene. Yeah. Have you been drinking?
Cheeky. I've been very well behaved. Thank you. I've taken a turn as an adventurer and hero. It turns out no one actually cares about murder as long as you murder the right people. And apparently I'm rather good at it.
Well, I could have told you that. Astarion, one of the good guys. Who would have thought?
Let's not get carried away, darling. I'm still me. Perhaps more me than I've ever been.
You ever miss walking in the sun? Nah. So what's next for you? Going to keep living the good life? Seem happy. Are you sure you haven't been drinking blood? What about the whole sun business?
I did at first. But then I realized. These shadows, this darkness, it's all a part of me. I spent too long defined by what other people did to me, the choices other people made for me. But that's over now. This is who I am. In all my glory, for better and for worse.
Glad to hear it. Acceptance looks good on you. Wow.
That being said, I haven't completely given up on returning to the sun. If the opportunity presented itself, well, I wouldn't say no. But until then, I am happy. We've had quite the journey, you and I. From the moment I first threatened you, I knew you were someone special. Someone to take on the world with. I will miss our time together. But then again, maybe this isn't goodbye. So much as it's, see you later, darling.
Yeah. Well, he does have a slightly longer lifespan than the others. Good. Then we have like Lae'zel also mingling around. And Tressym. Yeah, let's just talk to Tressym.
Sure. Oh, right. You. Hello.
They seem to be fairly happy. Greeting from Tara. What have I done to deserve the honor?
You helped Mr. Dakarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right?
actually can't help me. If that's what he told you, who am I to argue? Okay, you just reminded me why I have always disliked cats. Okay, if that's what he told you, who am I to argue?
Well done. Despite my old friend's genius, he'd have blown himself up long ago if not for the help of friends like you and I. You ought to come visit myself and Gale when you're able, if you can extract yourself from what I'm sure are very important responsibilities.
I try to. I quite like that. Thanks for the invitation. No respect for the co-savior Faroon, huh? No, thanks, my responsibilities keep me quite busy. Well, yeah, thanks for the invite.
We'll send word by pigeon when we've need of you. I used to have a taste for them, but a great many things have changed in recent months. Ta-ta, darling.
Alright. So, there is, one person missing.
For 2 months we trained the Knights of the Comet. For 2 more we skewered Kithraki bellies. And for 2 more yet we traveled through Limbo. It's taken 12 Gish's talents and a few stolen psi crystals, and 2 10 days of effort to conjure our projections here. Worth every one of those days and every drop of their sweat. Right here, right now. There's no other place I'd sooner be. Enjoy your night, chatter away. For tomorrow, we face Zerith Minyaragith.
Zerith Minyaragith. How well you know the name. The immortal god king of the Githzerai, and the ruler of their capital, Shraktalor.
It's like someone hitting the keyboard really, really hard. It's still hard to believe the great warrior Lae'zel on a diplomatic mission.
Minyaragith is an ascetic. He reached out in good faith. This is his way. It is in this spirit that we must meet him, my love.
Love. The word hangs in the air for a moment, before Lae'zel continues, unfazed.
Trust me, my blade is keen as ever. But it was here, in Faerun, where I learned a proper victory doesn't always require a razor-sharp edge. Sometimes, a sincere plea is more persuasive than a dagger against the neck. And if Minyaragith refuses, we carry on. Gravity pulls us in but one direction. We are warriors of the Comet. We will blaze forth until we burn Vlaakith's bones to ash and smash her phylactery to pieces. And when the Comet has risen, we will be forever together. As surely as Kalir will forever circle the sun.
Wow. If only Orpheus could have shared in our victories. Oh, love you, Lae'zel. To fight at your side is an honor and a pleasure. Let's hope I can get to the Orpheus business.
Love. Until I knew you, I thought the mere idea a joke. A weakness indulged only by lesser species. You proved me a fool. I am forever grateful.
Reach out to Lae'zel, seek the warmth of her touch. Oh.
Taste I will never grow tired of.
Now, the whole Orpheus business. If only he could have shared in our victories.
I admit, I've longed for his guiding wisdom more than once, but I have not heard tell of him, nor has my mind felt his presence. Gith's son has been lost to the shadows. Perhaps one day, when the Lich Queen is dust, he will step into the light.
Alrighty, so I talk with everyone. Sometimes they have like additional text or whatnot. And I think there is no other piece of text that we can read. There's just this chest of grateful words where it continues. The letter from Art. Ah! That's not what I wanted. There you go. Right click, read. To an old acquaintance, I write to you from the sunny porch of the Last Light Inn. A light breeze blows now and then. People are milling in and out, builders, visitors, the children of all ages in Halsin's care. I can no longer hold a quill or eat without assistance. A kind friend is transcribing this for me. Daniel, rejoined with Oliver, has promised to be with me when the end comes, and as our old songs drift on the wind ever louder, I know I have mere days left. But I do not fear it. If not for your help, this land would still be shrouded in darkness, and I'd still be lost within it. Know that my heart is full and happy, and I'm grateful for my last moments. Do visit someday, and if you have time to stop by an old Flaming Fist's grave, I know I'd love to see you. Art Karlach. Ah, nice one. That's worth a lot. Letter from Valeria. Salutations. I'm writing to request your help in a mysterious case that has arisen since our little Barlian bash a half year ago. Regrettably, I've had to take the credit for dispelling the Baal cult. In your absence, you understand that I'm working on routing the remaining Baldurs from our fair city. With the newly promoted Blaze de Vala's fountainhead in tow, of course, this has made me a target. A false document bringing my name into ill repute, but repute has been made public. An alleged unpaid bar tab at the Health Sock. If you happen to be passing through with a bundle of coin, perhaps you can persuade management of my obvious innocence. Much obliged. Investigator Valeria, Sloth of Hell. P.S. Any advice on getting Baldur's blood out of cloth? My head's not been the same since the murder tribunal.
The past made present. I'm glad for it. For this.
Letter
Withers has laid out quite a spread of food.
From
one
Ravenguard.
comprising mostly of bone.
So,
Perhaps he wishes to live vicariously through the attendees' appetites.
I cannot read that if I hear them constantly. That is definitely not the easiest thing to do. So, letter from Ravenguard. Hero of Baldur's Gate, vanquisher of the Absolute. The city is forever in your debt, for without your valor, your audacity, your sacrifice, I didn't sacrifice anything, it would not know renewal. It is not temples and inns and homes that I speak of, but hearts. Baldur's Gate can never be the city it was before it suffered the Absolute's touch. And that is as it should be. The saviors have borne witness to their homes near destruction. They have come to regret turning a blind eye to the cruelty God has disguised as safety and security, and they understand, just as I have come to understand, that trust, compassion and unity are the foundations of Baldur's Gate. Our gates are open once more to the disowned and displaced. The Flaming Fist will learn to be true servants of the people, and I will devote myself to ridding the gate of the shameful fears that allowed evil to enter our homes and sit at our tables. Yours, older Ravenguard. Letter from Arabella. Hey you, it's Arabella. Remember me, right? Bone Man once said I needed to find balance, where creation meets ruin, where morning meets midnight, and root of all being, fancy talk. He was right though. After I touched that idol in the grove, it was like a big tree started to grow in my head. And all these weird thoughts and feelings and powers sprouted on its branches like big black leaves. I had to figure myself out. So I followed the weave, like Bone Man said. I don't know how I knew what to do. I just did. After you squished
good song, good company,
the
and good wine from the looks of it.
After you squished the brain, Birdman showed up. Said the weave led him to me and me to him. He's teaching me how to make sense of all these leaves on my head tree. He says I need to use magic responsibly. He also says not to call him Birdman. I'll let you know how it goes. Letter from Ettvard.
Withers has a keen eye for a nice vintage. Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these? Gods, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
A small extract from a self-published pole-arm tabloid. A note is attached at the top. I will not be silenced. Kneeling with Ettvard. Friends, Baldurians, my people, consider our loss. Our lauded and benevolent patriarchs maimed our great upper city librarians demolished the very beating heart of our great city, the right to speak freely, dead upon the cobbles. Do you not see, my friends, Lord Gortas, formerly our greatest bulwark against the absolute, is now smeared as a collaborator, his allies and colleagues tossed aside, former publications of repute turning to censorious forces. I ask you, the pamphlet continues in much the same fashion. Letter from Araj. Oh, my friend, no, my darling. Greetings from Menzoberranzan, where the blood you so kindly traded me is ready to play its part in resurrecting the glorious house of Baldur. From the moment I saw you, I knew you had power, and I knew that I could harness it. I knew that it could be mine. Soon I will descend into the abyss my people call the Claw Rift, searching for my lost house in its depths. Will it be dangerous? Oh yes, most dangerous. But don't fear, darling, your strength will see me through. I will find the ruins of my house, and when I emerge again, it will be as matron mother of a house reborn. All thanks to you, all thanks to the power in your blood, until we meet again, my darling, Araj of Baldur, master of the sanguine arts. And a letter from Sebastian. After so long in a vampire cell, I had almost forgotten how to write.
Perhaps
Never
the
mind
bard knows
what to
some of
write.
my favorites. Unless my taste in music is too antique, of course.
But what can you say to the person who unlocked your cage and gave you your life back? Or gave us some kind of life, at least. After you killed Cazador and opened our cells, we fled into the Underdark. There were thousands of us, a ravenous wave, mad with freedom and out for blood, and gods did we find blood. We smeared every monster and unfortunate in our path, drinking what we could. Lost hundreds along the way, some to beasts, but most just disappeared into the dark. It wasn't easy, but eventually Cazador's house spawn calmed us and took control. They found some old ruins we could call home, and we've been here ever since, building new lives for ourselves. We are not free down here. The dark will chain us forever, but we aren't the prisoners we once were either. And that's thanks to you. We looked in our cages and saw people, not monsters. And here down in the shadows, we are trying to live up to that. Thank you, now and forever, Sebastian. Letter from Florrick. Dear friend, I doubted you.
Wish I'd had time to polish up the walls.
Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when he could source these? Gods, I remember one evening when we had to eat 14 apples, some fish heads, and a stale loaf of bread just to get by.
Dear friend, I doubted you for so long. Perhaps you know that already, in spite of my best attempts. You proved yourself time and again at Woken's Rest, in Moonrise Towers, in Worm's Rock, and still I doubted. The Netherbrain's defeat should have proven your courage, yet I was more doubtful than ever. This was a ruse, a dream, a trick, and then one eve from the elf song I heard it, singing a raucous, lewd, tuneless, drunken refrain. I'd never heard anything more terrible and more beautiful. I raised my voice and joined the chorus. That was the moment all my doubts were melted away and were replaced with something more valuable. Hope. Baldur's Gate will be whole again. I might have doubted you, but you never did. With profound admiration, Florrick. Letter from the Gur. Whoa, that's a long one. To the spawn Astarion. Oh, greetings from the family of Ulmar, hunters of monsters and keepers of peace across Faerun. We know this letter finds you well, for although we hunt you no longer, we do sometimes keep a watch. Your restraint and control over your bloodlust has been admirable. Indeed, it has been an inspiration for our children, who have struggled with their own hunger. These last months have been a difficult time for our people. We have protected and nurtured our children as best we can, and we have learned much. Herbs we once used to dull our foes' minds are now sedatives to ease hunger and pain. Restraints built to hold the undead now protect them from themselves. There has been a lot of pain, but a lot of progress too. Our children learned discipline and control, while we learned compassion and patience. There was a time when we would have destroyed any undead
By
creature,
the living gods, I needed it.
our own blood or not, and called it a mercy. But then we met you. We saw that redemption was possible. Difficult, yes. Painful, but possible. You saved our children first from Cazador and then from us. For that, we thank you. People watch you still, but with more admiration than fear. Walk in peace, Astarion. Letter from Alfira. Yeah, look at that. Hello, friend. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I have the most amazing news. You know how Lacrissa was working insane hours at the Elfsong Tavern? Well, she woke up one morning all excited and told me she had a surprise for me. She took me to her house in the lower city that had a plaque hanging up outside it. A plaque with your and Lihara's names on it, and School of Music beneath. I just burst into tears. I couldn't believe it. It's the cutest house you've ever seen, with a big open space downstairs and small loft where we can sleep. Word spread, and before I knew it, I had a room packed with trainee bards from Candlekeep to Waterdeep. Lacrissa had to quit the Elfsong to help out. I'm teaching night and day and fall into bed utterly exhausted every night. And I've never been happier. Do come and visit sometime. We'd love to have you. Lots of love, Alfira. Letter from Barkers. To whom it may concern. Withers gave me this address and said I could consider writing. Well, I considered it. Return good address song, included. Best Barkers.
And good wine from the looks of it.
But a letter from Dammon. Yeah, look at that. Hello, I hope this finds you well, but I don't know how I can. I heard that Karlach died shortly after you defeated the brain. Though I didn't know her half so well as you, she was unforgettable. I can't help but blame myself. Wonder what more I could have done. Believe me, I won't be caught short again. I've made it my business to learn all I can about infernal metalwork, in case another Karlach should ever visit my forge. But then again, who would there be another? She was absolutely singular. With sympathy, Dammon. And Elminster, bless you. Gale, my boy, I can only apologize for my absence from Withers' little gathering. As you know, only the most urgent of business would keep me from indulging myself in his excellent tasted sweetmeats, and your esteemed company, of course. I was delighted to hear that you came to your senses with regards to that cursed crowd, and delighted yet further when I learned that the orb's malingering presence no longer poses any threat. In that sense, at least, I hope you feel Mr. treating you well. You fairly. I hear you've been dabbling in a spot of education. A noble profession indeed, and no doubt after your adventures you've plenty of wisdom to spare. If I might offer a modicum of my own, keep your head sharp, your heart kind, and your larder stocked. After all, one never knows when an old friend might drop by. Elminster. Letter from Nocturne. Dear Shadowheart, I hope that you are happy and well. I must keep this short, as I remain surrounded by Shah's followers at almost every waking moment in my new enclave. I dearly wish for you to enjoy your night spent with old friends, and I hope that you and I shall share such a reunion. I know it must seem strange for me to dwell on such heretical thoughts, yet I cannot help myself. Perhaps one day I shall find some measure of bravery that you did and walk all away from this life. Until then, I shall keep safe and hold myself of you as my one ember of light amid an ocean of darkness. Until we find each other once again, yours always, Nocturne. And Voss has a little tablet there as well. Whoa. Githyanki's script, Tiesu adorns one side of the page. The other is written in the comment tab. Shlak. Orpheus may not be with us, but the comet shines ever bright. Breath by breath, battle by battle, Vlakiv's death draws nearer. I have taken to the astral plane. Slaughter all who must be slaughtered, and spread the air's truth to every possible ear. Spread the air's truth to every possible ear. Willing and unwilling.
Wish I'd had time to polish up the horns.
Many Githyanki have already taken up arms as warriors of the comet. Others have remained in their enclaves or traveled to crashes, dedicating themselves to our cause as scribes, spies, and slate scholars. But our allies do not all call themselves children of Gith. Zereth Menya Akgith, the Githzerai god king, has requested an audience. There was a time I would have thought such a coalition unspeakable, but with the Githzerai at our side, not even the full force of the Githoraki could stop us. If Vlakiv is to fall, perhaps the two skies must again be made one. Voss recalls Orpheus, Knight of the Comet. Letter from Hope. I had a dream last night. Not that there are any nights here, or any days. It was a dream about you, all of you, and you were here with me. And I had served bread and jam and oat crackers and cheeses and enough tea to quench a desert. You nibbled and sipped and smiled and laughed, and you asked if I was happy. Nobody has asked that for so long that I don't know if anyone has ever asked at all. I didn't have the words to answer, so instead I led you through my house and showed you all the souls that are here with me. They were Raphael's once, but now they only belong to themselves. The archive is an art gallery, the boudoir is a grand kitchen, and the dungeon is a refuge for any wounded soul or creature that finds its way to us. Am I happy? I don't know, but I'm Hope, and I persist because of you. Letter from Naaber. Ooh. This stack of correspondence is hefty. The first letter is signed and dated from slightly before your encounter with the Netherbrain. Hi, hello, greetings to you. I'm writing from inside a pigeon coop. Naaber, friend to all birds, so excuse any dry poo. I saw a letter tied to a pigeon leg and had the words epidemic, epidermis, and epilogue are all crossed out here. Epiphany. I had one of those. I kept asking you what you thought I should be, but not what you needed me to be. Then I remembered you kept coming to talk to me. No one else has ever done that, so I know my place now. I hear my calling. I shall be your pen pal. I'll write you every 10 days. Right, gotta go. Need to start planning my letters. Yours relentlessly, Naaber, pal of pets. There are 17 more letters.
By the living gods, I needed it.
Letter from Zevlor. I hope my penmanship has improved somewhat in the past month. When I first stumbled into the city, I shook so badly that I could scarcely hold the soup the priest pressed into my hand, let alone write and thank you as you deserve. It is only when the city itself began to shake that I felt my hands grow still. Along with the other veterans sheltering at the temple discarded of Eldra's unworthy legions, I watched that monstrosity rise over the city. We felt no fear, only anger, disgust, purpose, and with it, power. I do not know what oath we cling to now, or how long it will last, but we shall use it to ensure that the city will not suffer as Elturel did. whether it wants us or not. It is more than thanks alone I owe. No words can make amends for what I did to my people, but that is as it should be. More come to the temple every day to aid in the relief efforts, and if I am permitted to work alongside them, then I am content. Come and see us when you can, Zevlor. And this basically concludes all of the letters. But there is one more thing to read. One more thing to... What happens? There's a clothing chest. You can actually switch your design, so look at that. Eminent obsidian, wait, brokehead. Oh, wait, I actually have the wrong stuff on. There you go. Much nicer. Much nicer. I was wondering why I like the outfit had the same design, but I like the green stuff more. Alright, whoa. I think this is supposed to be there for you to have fun in photo mode or something. Alright, there's yeah, there's one missing. What's with us? The end of the adventure? Sure. Halsin, Wyll, Milil, Shadowheart, Volo, Gale, Astarion. And yeah, still no Karlach. Kind of wondering.
Good song, good company, and good wine.
But let's just get through the door here. So that's where Withers is. We're gonna talk to him in a moment. But first, I want to know what's written in Scroll of Circle of Death. Wait, what? Uh-huh. There are so many scrolls, so many things to read. That one is red. That one is red. A gold pendant. Bottle rack. Another bottle rack. More books to read. Okay. I think this is like a complete inventory of things. Volo's Guide to Baldur's Gate. Signed. Ooh. For my adventuresome muse, our fates are bound, my wisdom vast. I dearly hope our kinship lasts. The deepest affections, Volothamp, Gedda, poet, artist, Salar, etc. A poorly drawn map of a city is captioned in flamboyant script. What follows is the most thorough and accurate account of the city and people of Baldur's Gate, the sordid gem of the Sword Coast. And editor's note in crimson ink follows. This volume is startlingly accurate, save for the nonsense about the Black Dragon Gate. It is not alive, no matter how many vagrant hags claim otherwise. Commission someone else to draw the map. Then there is a scroll. A missive in Wither's hand addressed to some unknown entity, though you understand the alphabet, the script and the words themselves, the meaning alludes to. You glean only the impression of dark sun in white sky and an offer, or perhaps a warning. Dark sun, white sky. Interesting. Could that be Karlach? This is red. This is also somewhat empty. Do we have Mind Flyer Parasite Specimen? Yeah, we don't need that one. Or do we? Parasite Specimen. Yeah, it's a real one. We could. But no, we are just a projection. So... what do we got here? The Book of Willing Souls. A neat list of Baldurians and the deaths that befell them. Beneath an annotation from Withers, souls snuffed out in the battle for the Baldur's Gate. Perhaps some might deign to return should their city ever have need again. Sovereign Ortholor crushed by a falling roof as he held the door for others to flee. Nancy D. charged a mind flayer that entered her granddaughter's room, died with her second-best scissors in its eye. Pirelli Quickflint brought a nautiloid down over the bay. Recipe of elixir of arcane cultivation. Yeah, vitriol, belladonna. When in doubt, the rule of three. We got this. It's a cutting board, not something to read. Essence of planar feathers. Angelic slumber, that's nice. The burlap sacks, there's just rotten things, as usual. Okay, and a coffin. Convenient. Chessboards, bottles, crystals, vases. Yep, that's pretty much it. I think there's nothing more around here, is there? Except for this one. No. Okay. Empty. Good. So, time to talk to Withers. Actually, I don't want this to end. I want Karlach to be here.
Thou feelst it still. She is not here. She who was the boldest. Hast thy thoughts been with brave Karlach often?
Can you bring her back? And being strong, it's what she would have wanted. The world is so much worse for her being gone. There was no one like her. I can't think about her. It makes me too sad each time. The world is so much worse for her being gone. There was no one like her. Yes.
Correct. Not in planes material, elemental, nor transitive can her like be found. In but 10 days, an entire life was lived. More than mortal years. Mortal centuries were hers. Thy band, thy bond, gave that life to her.
Like this is, yeah. I'm so glad she was in my life too. We should celebrate that, shouldn't we? Not mourn what wasn't. Yeah, definitely glad she was in my life too. We should celebrate that, should we? Celebrating that would definitely be a good thing.
Now thou speakest like me. Thou hast wisdom, after all. In the fugue plane, her soul burns so bright, it pains the gods to look upon. Recall that in time, all changeth and all is rejoined. Thou shalt be with her again.
I suppose I returned to the party. I think I've caught up with everyone. I suppose I'll return to the party for a moment. The fugue plane. Is that so? Is that so? Divine performance bot dance, yeah.
Come now, out with it. Would be a shame to leave a party like this bereft of music too long.
Never got your name.
Milil. Though if the lack of song prayers is anything to go by, that name carries less weight than it used to.
Musical prayers were once offered to Milil, Lord of Song, a minor deity whose worship faded after offending the trickster god Cyric.
I'm washed up, I'm afraid.
I disagree. It's an honor to be serenaded by Milil, Lord of Song.
You know? You're bloody right! It is an honor! Finally! The scribe picks an adventurer of substance, of culture! What can I do you for?
Yeah.
Your wish is my... etc. What song do you want?
Right. You play a pretty song, reminiscent of taverns and tales. How about something thoughtfully hopeful? I like something that feels rich and warm. Something nostalgic and gentle would be ideal. Any new compositions? Okay, the new compositions, definitely not. What about the whole rich and warm businessy things? We could also just go for the tavern, but what about rich and warm stuff?
Interesting choice. Very interesting.
The rich and warm thing, I actually thought that he was somewhat connected to
I must be careful to not overindulge tonight, lest I lose control.
But it's actually very interesting that Withers is the one that connects everything here. Can you really not get her back? Come on. If you got Milil, then why not Karlach?
Yes.
So... Okay, we don't get a second chance for that. I think I've caught up with everyone. What comes up next?
What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving.
It's interesting that it was looking right at the camera there. So, to Baldur's Gate, to the greatest friends I could dream of. 2 brains without worms and a good night's sleep. To the hope of more adventures to come. Greatest friends. Nah, come on.
To you. There thou art, the dead 3. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou soughtst to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools, everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals, I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
I this concludes the Baldur's Gate playthrough. For everyone, thank you. Like and subscribe, of course, as usual. And we will be doing a different game at a different time. Of course, do get yourself some mods just to make it a bit more pleasant. For some reason, I haven't found this place here. Should have been somewhere in Baal's temple, but I don't know exactly where it's supposed to be. Anyway, as I said before, like and subscribe, of course. Until next time, and ta-ta!